Weekend may be a traveler's nightmare if you have tickets for a flight. ABC's Janae Norman with a technology glitch in some planes that may cause more delays and cancellations in bad weather.
With the 4th of July just days away, millions making plans to hit the skies for the holiday weekend. But transportation officials are warning airline passengers of possible delays and cancellations. The Department of Transportation sounding the alarm about airlines missing that crucial deadline to retrofit planes for 5G technology. Planes have a device called a radio altimeter, telling them how far they are from the ground. It's used when planes are about to land. Experts worry the devices could confuse the frequencies and fail when a plane is trying to land in bad weather.
The concern is that there is a possibility of a bleed over close enough with this new 5G surface that it could cause radar altimeters, which are critical to certain types of landings in jetliners, to malfunction.
Delta Airlines reporting 190 planes of 900 are not yet equipped. The company saying in a statement, if a flight is impacted by inclement weather on an aircraft that does not yet have the updated radio altimeter, existing Delta processes will inform them of the weather delay or cancellation and present options to rebook, etc., just as we do today.
And it may be that while they can still operate in and out with no problem unless the weather gets low, if the visibility goes down before they have these fixes, they're going to be restricted.
So not only could this potentially impact domestic flights, but it also has the potential to impact a considerable number of flights from international carriers that haven't completely retrofit their fleets. There are also concerns about global supply chain delays impacting some of these efforts. Janae Norman, ABC News at Newark Liberty International Airport.
All right, taking a look at live cams, taking you outside, and maybe some people thinking of traveling, trying to get away from this heat, but it looks like it's pretty much spread across the country right now.
Well, I was trying to find the one spot in the United States, maybe Wyoming.
Ooh. You know, Seattle's been really nice. Seattle,
Montana,
Idaho, Wyoming, yeah. Up there, they've enjoyed some pretty good weather. Temperatures in the 40s at night. Sounds really nice. Speaking of that heat, I want to show you a chart here. So this is the ERCOT supply and demand. We've been getting a lot of questions about this. Will we have enough power going forward, especially with a week like this week where we've got temperatures at 100 or above every day? And the short answer to that is yes. According to ERCOT's forecast year, we should be just fine. Now, we'll point out that the usage forecast is above some of the highest we've seen. Okay, so we're using a lot of energy here, but there is a lot that can be used. And so there's not a day there where we get even close or close enough to where it's an issue with the supply. So that's good news, but we did want to show you that, kind of quell your fears a little bit as far as having enough power. They're still going to ask you to conserve, but I think that for the most part, we're doing okay. And with a week like this, it's no surprise that we're using as much energy as we are. 103 the forecast today, 103 Tuesday, 102 Wednesday. There's a look at the heat index. Now, do you think the heat index starts to drift downward because we get drier air in place? That helps some, but it's still going to be a hot week no matter how you slice it. So that's the latest there. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll take a look at the tropics. We still have a little bit of activity out there, and we'll talk about when this heat might subside a little bit. That's in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, thank you, Justin. The Supreme Court is entering its final week of its term. All eyes are on the justices who are set to release decisions on a total of 10 cases. Those include an affirmative action case where the court is considering whether schools can continue to take race into consideration in the admission process. Another case looks at whether businesses can deny services to LGBTQ customers. The justices are also looking at elections laws and could give state lawmakers unchecked power over federal elections. And then the long-awaited decision on President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program.
There's a new study out. It shows that most shootings involving children are the result of deadly child's play. The study shows that these are accidental shootings with children playing with guns at home or children mistaking the guns for toys. The scientific journal Injury Epidemiology published this study today. It looks at cases dating back nearly a decade in which children under 15 accidentally killed themselves or another child with a gun. The study found most of the shootings happened at the victim's home, where 8 out of every 10 cases That gun belonged to an older relative. The research also has discovered that in more than 40% of the incidents, an unintentional death happened to kids that were aged 2 to 4.
Right now, crews are searching for people trapped in rubble after a 13-story building collapsed in Egypt. So it's not clear how many people may have been inside. Apartments in the building were used as rental units for domestic tourists spending the summer in Alexandria. Officials have not said what might have caused this collapse.
Now to what appears to be a mutiny among Russia's fighting forces. This after one of President Vladimir Putin's most loyal lieutenants launched an open attack on Putin's own military leadership. ABC's M. Nguyen with where that mutiny stands today and how it may affect the war in Ukraine.
Apparent cracks emerging in Russian President Vladimir Putin's control of the nation he's led for decades following the most brazen challenge to his authority. Political analysts say Putin was dealt a humiliating blow this weekend after his close former ally and Wagner mercenary boss Yevgeny Prigozhin marched into southern Russia with an armed rebellion, seizing a city and then marching towards Moscow with little resistance.
We've seen some very serious cracks emerge. You have Prigozhin publicly questioning the very premise for this Russian aggression against Ukraine in the first place. You have someone challenging Putin's leadership very publicly and very openly.
But then 120 miles from the capital, he abruptly halted his mutiny after a deal was apparently brokered. The Kremlin saying criminal charges against Prigozhin and his men would be dropped. Prigozhin was supposed to receive exile in Belarus and some of his men be folded into Russia's army. But a new report today says a criminal case against Prigozhin is still open. Putin initially denounced his former confidant, calling Prigozhin's actions a stab in the back. On the battlefield, Ukrainian President Zelensky warns Russia may be planning a potentially life-threatening attack on Zaporizhia, Europe's largest nuclear plant, calling on the world to help. This as Ukrainian troops are involved in fierce fighting on the front lines. Ukrainian soldiers successfully landing on the Russian-held eastern bank of the river in Kherson. Experts say if Ukraine can keep its foothold, it'll add further pressure on Russia's forces in the south already struggling against Ukraine's counteroffensive. Several major questions still remain, including where Prigozhin's whereabouts are and what consequences for the mutiny he might face from Putin, a leader known for executing his opponents for much less. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
While everything seems to be getting more expensive these days, there might be some relief for some renters. What parts of the country are seeing rent prices drop?
While it seems the price of everything is going up, at least one big ticket item appears to be falling in price, at least in some places, for the first time in years. The U.S. median rent in May fell a percentage point from May of last year. It's the first annual rent decline in at least 3 years. What's more, experts expect the rent prices to continue to soften throughout the remainder of the year and into next year. According to the report from Realtor.com, it's not every year this is happening or in every place. The declines are in Las Vegas and Phoenix, as well as the Riverside and San Bernardino areas of California. However, if you rent in the Midwest or the Northeast, the opposite thing is happening. Your rent is increasing. Wah, wah, wah.
Well, now to a scam alert. CPS Energy has a warning for its customers. They've received reports of criminals pretending to be CPS Energy employees trying to steal personal information over the phone. The energy company wants to remind their customers that they will never call to demand payment or threaten same-day disconnection. They also won't accept payments through prepaid debit cards or gift cards, and they won't transfer your calls to another representative to collect payments.
We have the best viewers. They pay attention to us. We just had a comment sent in on Instagram. Tammy Cox saying that her son is in Alaska, which goes on the list of places where you can beat the heat.
I hear Alaska's very nice this
64
time.
degrees right now.
64, high of 70, sunny skies. We can only dream. We can only dream. Or we could go back to 1974, it's 59. That was a record low back in 1974. We won't be anywhere near that today. We thankfully won't get to the record of 106, although we'll be in range. That was set back in 2012. Triple digits are in the forecast, though. We'll look at that 7 days coming up.
All right, well, the temperature's not letting up. There was a little bit of almost light at the end of the tunnel with that 99 degrees earlier, but still.
Well,
some tough times.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
It'll be one of those moments where I will thank you profusely when it happens.
Okay.
But I remember last week, the weather department giveth and then it taketh away.
You held it against me last week. Listen, I'm hoping for the best. Positive vibes, guys. It's
Okay, positive energy.
Positive
Manifest it.
Let's
Yes.
go. We see it, we feel it, we
Just got like 3 more months to get through where we're going to do it together. And we've got to watch the aquifer. This is a number that I know we don't, we report to you every day. I know we don't pay a ton of attention to it, but we were going to have to start looking at this closer again because we're down to 636.4. And that is well below average. We've been well below average for a couple of years now. But this number is dropping back down to where we were to start the year, and we're in pumping season. So it could conceivably keep going down as long as things are dry, and they look like they will be. So with this number dropping, we're still in stage 2 watering restrictions for SAS customers. I want to make that clear. Once a week watering, 7 to 11 and a.m. and 7 to 11 p.m. But man, it's not a good situation. The aquifer is down 0.6 of a foot today to 636.4, and any surplus we built up in May has pretty much gone away. As we go outside for you right now, there's not even a cloud in the sky. So obviously no rain today. 92, heat index is 99. Very little breeze out there, and a dew point of 72. As we look at the KSAT 12-hour forecast, your feels like numbers will continue to climb. 104 is what it will feel like at 3 o'clock. 107, your feels like number at 4 and 5, with a high temperature around 103. Down to 100 at 7 o'clock and 98 at 8 p.m. But we're still looking at heat indices here. It will take until 9 o'clock for the heat index to drop below 100. And then tonight, we're in the mid-80s at midnight. Eventually on our way to upper 70s tomorrow. Now, heat indices will be bad across the entire area. 109 is what it will feel like in San Marcos, 110 in Seguin, 111 in Pleasanton, 110 in Pearsall. But if you can believe this is a little bit of an improvement, and I think we'll see some slight improvement here over the next several days as dew points try to decrease just a little bit. It's taken a lot of time for the soils to kind of dry out. And so the lower the dew point, the better off we are. We don't get those crazy heat index numbers. As you look across the country, you can see the big low spinning here over parts of Michigan. There's severe weather involved with this. There's going to be some storms across parts of Pennsylvania and New York. Already some big storms going there. Cooler, rainier for those folks. But we're underneath a ridge of high pressure. And this is the ridge that tends to bring us the dry, hot weather. It's going to be almost over top of us tomorrow. And then by Friday into Saturday, it starts to shift east a little bit, and then far enough east to where I think it opens up the door for maybe some rain chances and some cooler weather by next week. We got to wait a week for that. Very quickly in the tropics, a couple systems to watch here. Brett fell apart. Cindy is falling apart. We've got another little wave here. But there's nothing really that jumps off the page. So I think we're good. We had some active weather there for a little bit. Looks like things are quieting down. There are a couple systems in the Pacific we'll watch. I don't think they really do anything for our forecast. So 103 tomorrow, 102 Wednesday, 101 Thursday. Less humidity, as I said, at least slightly less humidity. And then 100 Saturday. And there it is, 99 on Sunday and partly cloudy, guys.
Thank you, Justin. New today at 5, mortgage rates continue to fluctuate around the 7% mark, and that can make it tough for a lot of people to get a loan. Turns out people of color are denied twice as often as white applicants. So what if you're denied? 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz is going to explain things that you can do to turn that no into a yes. It's today at 5 after Entertainment Tonight.
Welcome back. So we now go to the BET Awards, the star-studded lineup celebrating 50 years of hip-hop.
And one musical legend performing a powerful tribute to another. ABC's Kelly Carter with all the highlights.
Hip-hop reigning supreme on culture's biggest night.
Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up.
The BET Awards pulling out all the stops to celebrate the genre's 50th anniversary. The award show going strong for nearly 4 hours, despite not having a host amid the ongoing writer's strike.
No, there's nothing on the teleprompter.
Exactly. I call you when I need you. My soul's on fire.
Music legend Patti LaBelle having her own issues with the teleprompter while performing a tribute to Tina Turner.
What if I can't see the words? I don't know. I'm trying, y'all. Hey, just as long as I'm here in your arms, I could be in no better place. You know why?
But getting through it in the end, proving why she's simply the best. Coco Jones named Best New Artist.
For all of my black girls, we do have to fight a little harder to get what we deserve, but don't stop fighting.
And Lotto, Best Female Hip Hop Artist.
Shout out to all the women, we killing it.
Busta Rhymes becoming emotional as he was honored with the 2023 Lifetime Achievement Award.
It took so long to give me this. I got so much to say.
As for Miss Patty, a BET spokesperson told The Hollywood Reporter that due to the crowd's enthusiasm, the teleprompter was obstructed, obscuring Miss LaBelle's view of the lyrics. For ABC News, I'm Kelly Carter, Los Angeles.
All right, we're going to head over to SA Live. Did you know that LSU is in the championship game tonight, the baseball team, and this is what is on the menu at my house?
I was wondering where you were going with that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chili cheese dog right there, but a chili you've never tasted before. Quick question. One ingredient on a dog, what would it be?
Oh, let's go with the cheese. I'm all about the cheese.
Okay. Ursula?
The pickle relish.
Wow.
Pickle relish. I say mustard, and that's what this gentleman says. James
I
Curl
agree.
from Wienerville, and boy, he's got some exotic dogs, different flavors from around the world, and a new one coming out too, right?
Yes, we got the Wimby dog coming out this week. It's a Parisian-style street dog.
All right, and we'll tell you what's on that one, and you got a great deal for folks as well. More food. It is Cajun time. Jen's over there at Acadiana Cafe. Hey, Jen.
Yeah, just for you, Ursula, right? You mentioned LSU. How about some Cajun eats? All of these here are $9.99, so we're getting summer meal deals. We're showing you the menu, and I think, Mike, I am starting with dessert. Look at this Mississippi mud pie. Yes, please.
Oh my God. Wow, that looked really good.
It did, right?
Tiffany wants a bite of that too. This is Tiffany Phillips from Simply Tiff's, and all natural ingredients for skincare, right? And you've got, this is a miracle salve.
Yes, so sunburns, jellyfish stings, muscle spasms, pretty much anything you can think of, this is going to be the salve to take care of that.
The ingredients are so simple. Also, a soap, if you, especially for teenagers with acne problems, we can tell you all about that. And grease is the word.